Good evening, everyone. This is Phil, WA6LDI. I'll be your next controller this evening for the SOARA Tuesday Night Net. This net meets every Tuesday evening on this frequency and also on the SOARA 2-meter, 220, and 440 repeater system. This net is open to all licensed amateurs, and we welcome and encourage all check-ins. For further information, please visit our website at SOARA.org. That's SOARA.org. By the proceeding and throughout the net, we break for emergency, priority, or echo link traffic. Do we have any emergency, priority, or echo link traffic at this time? If so, please come in. Nothing hurry. Again, this is WA6LDR, your net control this evening with the SOARA Tuesday Night Net. Today, of course, is Tuesday, February 17th. This evening's order of business will be as follows. Announcements to the net, and check-ins in any order. Again, announcements. Do you have any announcements to the net? If so, please tell me the call sign.
W6 DVT.
Good evening, Dale. Any other stations with announcements?
WA6 RUZ.
Good evening to you as well, Charlie. Any other stations with announcements? Okay, nothing heard. Let's go on to Dale, W6 CDT. Pick it up, sir.
Well, thank you, Phil. I just want to remind everybody we have a meeting next Monday, not today. It's President's Day and the Murray Center is closed. So we'll be meeting next Monday, and we'll have KR6ISS doing a presentation on antennas and radio sites. I don't have the exact details in front of me, but it'll be very interesting as all his presentations are. And another announcement I have is that Ray, K6NOV, is looking for articles for the propagator. If you got a hint or a tip or whatever, send him an email, k6NOV@SOARA.org, and he'll help get it in there. Doesn't have to be too fancy or anything like that. Just something we'd like other people to know about, ham radio or computer related. And the final announcement I have is that the election for the bylaws and constitution changes is completed as of February 14th, and that all matter passed. So the new bylaws and constitution went into effect immediately. Thanks everybody for voting. This is W6 EDQ. Back to Ned. Thank you for that, Bill.
You're very welcome, Dale. Thank you for the announcement. Let's go on now to Charlie, WA6RUZ.
Hello, this is WA6RUZ. I'm looking for 2 more operators for the Ultra Fit 5K run coming up on February 28th, from 7 a.m. to noon. I still have 2 positions I need to fill. If anyone is able to fill those positions, they can email me at WA6RUZ@SOARA.org. Back to net.
Thank you, Charlie. Hopefully we'll get some more volunteers for the upcoming event. Alrighty, let me see if we can bring anyone else on board regarding any announcements. Anyone else with an announcement for the net? Please come out. Okay, nothing heard. Let's have some check-ins at this point. Let's have groups of 5 stations. Come with your call sign phonetically, please. Again, this is WA6LDI.
6H, Ray.
Good evening, Ray. Thank you for checking in, sir. Any other stations?
WA6RUZ, check-in only.
Thank you, Charlie. Welcome aboard. Any other stations?
Kilo Oscar 6, Alpha Oscar Lima. Mike.
And good evening to you, Mike. Thank you for checking in. Any other stations wishing to check in, please come now. Alpha India 63, it's the Echo. And good evening to you, Mike. Alpha India 6 Whiskey Echo. We have another station.
Kilo November 6, Alpha Sierra Romeo, Dion.
Oh, good evening to you, Dion. Thank you very much for checking in. Okay, that's all we have. Ray, Alpha Echo 6 Hotel, Charlie, WA6RUZ, Mike, KO6, AOL, another Mike, Alpha India 6 Whiskey Echo, and Dion, KN6 ASR. Any other stations wishing to check in, please come now. Kilo 6, Hotel in Victor. And it's Canoe. Kilo 6 Hotel India Victor. Any other station? Alrighty. Basically, the topic this evening is what occurred in your life that made you decide to become an amateur radio operator. So we'll go on to Ray, AV68 to pick it up. This is WA6LVI.
Well, thanks, Bill, and good evening, y'all. And thanks, of course, for running the net. This is Ray 86H. And probably like many people, it wasn't a single event or point. All through junior high and high school, I was interested in radio electronics. My good friend and I built several kits, including CB transceiver kits. We each had one. I built reheat kits, receivers, instruments, that sort of thing. More. And of course, life in college and everything got in our way. However, he joined the amateur radio club at university he attended. I did not. Different university. Not even sure that my university, although must have had at that time a ham radio club. Fast forward some 30 some odd years, he came out to visit on a business trip. Of course, he had his license by that time for 20 some odd years. He brought with him an old Yaesu dual band radio, cigarette lighter plugs, mag mount antenna, which he plugged into his cigarette lighter in the rental car. And of course, demonstrated it to me as we went out to dinner. So that piqued my interest more. He was the first to inform me that Morse code was no longer needed, so to get the technician license. So I proceeded to study, and about a month later, I took the exam and passed. So that's the event in my life. Visit from a friend from many years ago with his ham radio caused me to go ahead and get my beginning license. Of course, since then I had to learn enough Morse code to pass the 20 words per minute extra, etc. So in those days there were 5 licenses, not 3. So I went through the steps. Here I am. So that was the event. So over to 86H.
Okay, thank you, Ray. That sounds interesting. I think a lot of us had experienced almost the same way to come on board amateur radio. We have friends, we have certain ideas regarding electronics and engineering and possibly those types of careers. Okay, let's go on. Let me see. Charlie just wanted to check in. Charlie, did you want to make any comment on how you were able to get in amateur radio, what occurred in your life, or did you just wanted to check in with your call?
Well, I'm kind of busy, but I'll check in and give you a little bit of information. Let me start with these. Back in 1976, I think it was, I was involved with the community search and rescue, and we used Channel 9 on TV, and with the TV craze, it became unusable, and I had a friend with a ham radio operator in my school, and he volunteered to train the whole group of it to get a ham license, and we did that in our backyard, and all but one of us passed the exam, and I became a tech at that time, and I became a general later on, and that's where I am now. WA6RZ back to net.
Okay, well, fine, Charlie. It sounds like you did well there, and getting together with friends, dealing with getting your license. So congratulations on that as well. Let's go to Mike, KE6 Alpha Oscar Lima. This is WA6LVI.
Yeah, Mike here, Kilo Oscar 6, Alpha Oscar Lima. I guess similar to Ray, it wasn't necessarily a single event, but my father had been a lifelong tinker, electronic enthusiast, computer enthusiast, and I think he, as he was getting more and more sick, kind of motivated me to push into this. I would say he was a maker long decades before there was even a term called maker. So I'll credit him, and that was just I've only had my license for years. So passing it back to Nat.
Okay, very good there, Mike. Well, it's always good to have a good elmer there, so to speak, and teaching you what needs to be done to get your license and kind of light the fire under you there to do that. Okay, let's go on to Mike again. Alpha Echo 6 Whiskey Echo to pick it up. This is WA6LDI. Mike, are you still with us? South India 6 Whiskey Echo, WA6LDI. Okay, apparently Mike left. Let's continue here. Again, well, let's stand by first for any emergency priority or echo link traffic. Okay, nothing heard. Let's go on to Dion, KM6 ASR. This is WA6LDI.
This is KM6 ASR. I carried a radio on my hip just about every work day in my career for almost 30 years. My work vehicle too had a two-way radio in it. It was 40 watts, and it could reach the headquarters in Fountain Valley from just about anywhere in the county. And that doubled as a field office for occasional emergency response and search warrants. Also, the unit I worked with was we were all trained in first responder, and we had medical. And once I retired, my wife one day said, "What's wrong?" After a couple of years, I said, "I really miss my radio." So she suggested, "Well, look up the ham radio license and go buy a radio." So that's what I did. That's why I'm into it. So now I'm learning about radios and electronics and all that. Instead of just, talking on the radio. KM6 ASR, back to Nat.
Oh, well, fine, Dion. Were you in law enforcement or possibly the fire services by any chance?
I was with Source Control with Orange County Sanitation District, now known as OC Camp. My unit, we had to know where all the hazardous materials were, how it was used in manufacturing. Any industries that use hazardous materials and water. And when there'd be a spill or something like that, then we would get called in as follow-up to technical experts. I'm sure on more than one occasion, and things could get pretty busy, but I'm sure that Ray, A6H, and I probably rubbed elbows out there from time to time over the year on his KM6 ASR, back to Nat.
Okay, very good, Dion. Well, I'm former law enforcement myself. Began as a police dispatcher many years ago at the LA County Sheriff's Department. And then bounced around a little bit and retired, what was it? About 10, 12 years ago. Oh, actually more than that now that I'm thinking about it. I actually retired in 2000 with the local PD, and been happy ever since. Less stress in my life, so to speak. Okay, very good. Well, we're glad to hear that, and you now have your radio on your hip again, so that's good. All right, let's go on to Canute, K6HIV. This is WA6LDI.
And good evening to everybody from beautiful downtown Rancho Santa Margarita. This is K6HIV. I'm apparently losing my voice a little bit, so I'll try to keep the level up by shouting into the mic here. I had to go back to about the early 1950s. My dad, he's gotten out of the got out of the Navy after WWII, and he had been a gunfire control technician in the Navy, and so when he got out, he went to work in the shipyards on naval ships, really involved with electrical electronic stuff more. And so, one day when I was probably about 12 years old and brought home a DOM and a battery cell from resistors. And it gave me a challenge to figure out the relationship between the value of the resistors, the current, and the voltage. So I during teach and learn all his laws with homework. Yeah, and it really the whole concept of math and electronics fascinated me. And so when I got into teenage, I with some of the other guys who were also very, that word was used back then, but that's who he was. And one of them took up a friendship with a neighbor who's a ham, and we went to the local ham meeting. And the ham club there was very welcoming to us and helped us get involved, get familiarized with more equipment. My dad bought me a short-wave receiver. I could listen in. And the ham club finally has gave us lessons that helped us all get our novice license. And that's what kicked me off back by that time, the late 1950s. Back to net control, K6 HIV. Okay, well, fine there, Canute. Well, sounds like you followed in good footsteps there and got your tickets. Thanks to your dad, and he helped you get light the fire there, so to speak. Myself, I've been licensed, I can't believe how long, since 1960. I first received my my novice license, then worked my way up towards tech, and then general, then advanced, then eventually extra. I used that, let me reset. I used my expertise in CW after as I got into the Navy and was a radioman. Started off as a communications technician, then went to radioman on board a heavy cruiser. Served during the Vietnam War, I guess you can say, you call it. And after that, after I got out of the Navy, I continued in communications. So in both public service, law enforcement, that sort of thing. But my Elmer was just a little older than I was, and he had some physical issues. There, unfortunately, he caught polio at a very young age and lost his sight as well as getting around. He had one leg that was giving him some really great problems, and he had to walk with a cane. But he was able to help me get my novice, and then I went up from there. And we enjoyed many years of operating. Again, that knowledge helped me out to where I am today. Well, I'm retired today, but I went from the Navy, the full-time Navy, to the Coast Guard Reserve. Was able to work my way up from enlisted to commissioned officer. I was by the time I retired, I was a chief warrant officer at W4, and my specialty was communication. And I'm still active. I try to get on the air as much as I possibly can. Whenever I have free time, I work sideband, CW, a little bit of FCA, whenever my flight computer decides to work on FT8. I've been having some problems with some of the drivers. But anyways, getting back to that, that's the way things go sometimes. Okay, I yacked enough here, so let me see if we can bring anyone else on board. Again, this is WA6LDI Net Control for the Tuesday night that I'm used to running the Sunday morning 40 meter net. So if anyone has any HF equipment, I'm usually on at 0800 local Pacific time on Sunday mornings on the 7.2 megahertz. So if you guys ever want to check into an HF net, by all means, please do so.
All right, let's see if we can bring anyone else on board at this point. There's no WA6LDI. Still with the SOARA Tuesday Night Net. Do you have any other stations wishing to check in? Please come down with the call sign.
JN6 HEC, Kilo November 6, Hotel Echo Charlie Anthony.
Okay, welcome aboard, Anthony. Great hearing you again after quite some time. Do we have any other stations wishing to check in? Please come out.
Bob.
Okay, there was a double. I heard Bob. Bob, what's your call sign?
Number 5, Kilo.
Okay, got you that time, Bob. November 5, Kilo Zulu Victor. And there was another station in there. Please come again.
W60.
Hello again, Dale. Welcome aboard, sir. Okay, any others?
K9JOS.
Hello, Joseph. K9JOS. Any other station? Okay, nothing heard. The new people that checked in just now, Anthony, Bob, Dale, and Joseph. The topic this evening is what occurred in your life that made you decide to become an amateur radio operator. So let's go on to Anthony. Anthony, I'll turn it over to Bob, and then Bob, Dale, Dale, Joseph. So KN6HEC to pick it up. This is WA6LVI.
Hey, thanks for doing the net there, Bill, and I'll make it quick because I know it's a big group today. We were back, it must have been back in the early 90s. There was a store, some of you might remember it. It was called the Electronic Times off of Magnolia and Warner. And I was passing through and I stopped by and walked in one of those stores, went into that store, and there was somebody in there, another ham operator that was using one of the radios. I kind of just stood in the background just watching him, and I was really fascinated by how he was getting around because, of course, I was 15, 11 meter at that time. I was pretty young, so I told myself I would be a ham operator someday. But of course, after the kids and all that got on their way and graduated and stuff, I spent time to study. But yeah, that was it. Anyway, I'll pass it over to Bob. N5KZV KN6HEC.
5KZV. My story is kind of split up. I was interested in ham radio back in the 50s, but never had a chance corresponding to get the equipment fixed then. So fast forward about 30 years, and I'm working at a power plant, and got in the training department, and several of the trainers there were ham radio operators. I got divorced about that time, so I had a lot of spare time on my hands, and I decided I'd go ahead and finally get my license after all this time. At that time, of course, it was 86. I needed code, so I learned 5 words a minute, and just an novice, and I had to step license the same day and pass the code. But I kind of stagnated there because in the 80s and 90s, I was doing a lot of traveling, and a 2-meter rig was about everything I needed. Anyway, I've been just hanging around since then. Got my license expired a couple years ago, and went ahead and renewed it and moved up to general. And I'm working on advanced at a very slow process. Anyway, that's my story, and I will give it back to Net Control. This is November 5. She was busy Christmas. So, Dale.
Okay, real fine, Bob. N5KZV, those went so nice. Well, that's great to hear how you basically got acquainted with amateur radio, got your novice ticket and then tech, and then from there worked your way up. So, very, very good. All right, let's go on to Dale, W6CDT.
Well, thank you, Bill. Thanks for on the net. Sorry I didn't check in earlier. So my story is I was in an electronics class with Knut. And he was teaching the class, and this is Knut K6HIV. And he gave, at the start of this class, he gave a little first talk on amateur radio and how it's a great way to learn electronics and be able to experiment and stuff like that. And then he said, you also consider getting your license. And I talked a little bit, and he wasn't just talking to me, he was talking to the whole crowd, but the whole group of students. But I came and talked to him a little bit more, and one-on-one, and he said, what keeps you from doing it? You've been doing this for a while. Didn't have a good answer, and it was something I always wanted to do. So I got my technician's license, and gone from there. Well, thank you, Knut, for inspiring me. Over to back to, I'll pass it direct to K9JOS from W6EDQ.
This is K9JOS. Thank you, EDP, and thank you, Phil, for doing the net. My story is a little different. I was exposed to radio in the late 70s, early 80s, and never really got my ticket. Just my exposure was through the military. Many years later, probably 4 or 5 years ago, hold on, let me read that. I was exposed again to amateur radio directly by being a member of some prepper groups that I associate with. And the main reasoning behind that was they were involved in emergency communications and stuff like that. So I got involved in that. And then basically just pursued getting, the higher and higher class licenses, and also ran into N6RPR, who was involved with city emergency communications, raising Diego, and then we got involved with those parks, and everything just kind of snowballed from there. But that's pretty much my story. It's pretty short and sweet, but I'm really enjoying it and learning tons more from all you guys every day. I'll hand it back to Bill, LBI, the K9JOS monitor.
Okay, well, fine, Joseph. K9JOS and the group, WA6LDI. Well, we actually have 10 people, it looks like, here. Actually, 11. That's quite a turnout for the Tuesday night net. Really appreciate you guys checking in. I also run the Sunday morning net, the SOARA Sunday morning net on 40 meters, of course, 7.2 megahertz. That's 0800 local Pacific time on Sunday. So any of you have HF equipment you'd like to check in, and if you get up early on a Sunday, which I know is very difficult to do, especially if you're still working, by all means, please check in. Let me use that. Okay, let me break here. Do we have any emergency priority or Echolink traffic? Please come out. Okay, nothing heard. So again, I really appreciate everyone checking in. It really helps the morale there, so to speak. It's kind of the spread of amateur radio, especially people that aren't licensed yet, and they enjoy listening to various repeaters in the area. Okay, let's go to the top of the list. Ray, I hope you're still with us. Alpha Echo 6 Hotel. This is WA6LDI.
I am Phil. This is Ray, E6H. However, I don't have a whole lot to add. Been interesting in hearing everybody else's stories. There's all kinds of reasons for becoming involved. And of course, one thing I forgot to mention was I was a appliance operator for 30 years with the fire department in the fire service. So, but that was pretty simple. In fact, when it first started out, we had tube radios and telephone hand microphone earpieces. They were like telephone handsets, and the biggest thing I remember is you had to learn to say before you said anything else to give the transmitter tube time to come to life again and start transmitting. And also, of course, when you pulled out the door of the station, you had to wait till you got about 3/4 of a mile down the road before you could advise dispatch that you were responding, because it took that long for the radio to warm up. My, how things have changed. Anyway, thanks for running the net tonight. And this is Ray, E6H, over to net.
Okay, real fine there, Ray. Yeah, you bring back a lot of memories with the old tube radios. I know exactly what you're saying. That's really something. Charlie, you're still with us by any chance? WA6RUZ. Okay, nothing heard. I think he did mention that he was busy, so we'll go on to Mike. KO6AOL. This is WA6LDI.
Yeah, thank you for running the net tonight. I agree, it's interesting to hear everybody's stories. Nothing really to add. I can pass it on to Mike, AI6WE, KO6AOL.
Okay, I believe Mike had already checked out. Let's go on to Dion, KN6ASR.
Nothing to add really.
listening to Ray, it did remind me that I remember when I started, the first time I ever used a handheld radio was, I think it was 1986, and they taught us to say, well, we all had a number that identified us, but they taught us to say mobile unit before we would give our number, and that way we held the PCT down long enough that our signal would go through. So it's great listening to everyone, and the really great net. Thanks, Phil, for running it. And I'm making this my 73 round. So KN6ASR back to net.
Okay, Dion. Well, thank you very much for checking in. It's always a pleasure hearing from you. And hopefully you'll check in on the next net. 73, my friends. Canute, K6HIV. This is WA6LDI. Pick it up, sir.
Yeah, this is K6HIV. Greetings to Dion and Anthony and my neighbors. You were on nice, and yeah, it's very, very interesting to hear your story. Different folks got involved, and also stories about what we're doing now. To be active in amateur radio. I think there's so many activities available today. That's one of my favorites, which I've mentioned before, is to try to continue to be one of those influences that get people interested in following up on amateur radio. So that's always fun. At any rate, so nothing else to add on this, but I will be. I'm not checking out. I'll be here next go round if we have one. All right. Over to Phil, and again, Phil, thanks for doing the net tonight. K6HIV over to net control.
Oh, my pleasure, Canute. Thank you very much for checking in as well. Really appreciate it. Always love to hear your stories as well. Okay, let's go on to Anthony. KN6HEC. This is WA6LDI.
Yeah, KN6HEC. I forgot to add, after walking into Electronic Times back in the 90s, I mentioned that story's no longer there, but 2019 I decided to walk into HRO, and that's when I met George. I think N6DNI, I think is his call sign. I can't remember his call sign, so you might know it. And he was talking to me, and he's the one that talked me into stolen for me taking the test. So in 2019 I did, and I'm so glad I did. Haven't looked back, and just been having fun with the hobby. Anyway, a lot of fun. Back to you, Bill, KN6HEC.
Okay, Anthony, KN6HEC on the group, WA6LDI. Yes, I do know George. He used to hang around at HRO when I worked there for a number of years, and he's recruited many people. He's helped a lot of different people to get their licenses, and he's done a great job with that. So he's had, I know after the last year or so, he's been ill. He doesn't get around as well as he used to. So I'm not sure if he still comes to HRO or not. I retired from there myself about 6 months ago. Worked there only part-time, of course. But really enjoyed it, met a lot of good people, helped a lot of people hopefully get their license, and kind of miss it. So I do swing by there every so often to say hi to the old crew and see how things are going. So that's about it. I'm glad that George is still around. Not sure how often he visits HRO, but I know that he was definitely implemented a lot of people to get their ticket. So good to know. Okay, let's go on to Bob. Bob, are you still with us? N5 Kilo Zulu Victor. This is WA6LDI.
So I appreciate you. This is
I haven't got a lot more to add. I've got a few projects I'm working on, but still I put it. I've already talked about it before, so I'm not going to add anything else. With that, I will take 73 and now have a good evening.
Okay, Bob, very good. Well, thank you so much for checking in. Enjoy the remainder of the evening, and we look forward to you checking in again possibly next week. So 73 and take care. Let's go on the Dale, W6CDT. This is WA6LDI.
Well, thanks, Phil, and thanks for running the net. I too have to do my CW ops training session for a little bit here, so I need to get ready for that. Working with the computer, but I need to get some practice in because I'm falling a little behind. So I'm going to say 73, but thanks again, and we will talk to y'all later. This is WA6CDT. And I'm not sure who to pass, if KJOS is still out there, so I'll pass it back to you, Phil, and you can pass it to him if he's still on W6TV.
Okay, real fine there, Dale. As always, it's a pleasure chatting with you and having you check in on the nets that I do run every so often. So very good. Enjoy the rest of your evening and keep up with the CW. It's a lot of fun, as you know. Okay, let's go on to Joseph. Joseph, are you still with us? K9JOS, WA6LDI.
K9JOS. Thank you, Phil, and thank you, Dale. Yeah, this is kind of a cool net. It's been interesting, as Knut said, listening to all the different backgrounds and stuff going on. It really is neat. I really enjoy it. But I really don't have a whole lot more to add, and I just want to say thank you, Phil, again. This has been really cool. And I will be standing by, so, but not active. So this is K9JOS standing by. Have a great evening, everybody. 73.
Okay, Joseph. Well, thank you very much for checking in. It's been a pleasure as always. And we'll look for you getting down the log, as they used to say. Alrighty, let me have one more go around here for a 73 go around. If whoever's still here, that's great. If not, I understand. So, Ray, are you still with us? Alpha Echo 6 Hotel, WA6LDI.
I am here, Phil, and thanks again for running the net. And this time I really don't have anything to add, so I'll say 73, everybody, and I'll be listening for the finish of the net. A6.
Okay, very good there. Ray 73 to you, and thank you so much for checking in. I believe Charlie's already signed, so let's go on to Mike. KO6AOL, WA6LDI. Mike, are you still with us?
I am, and thanks for running the net. 73 for me. I'll pass it back to you. KO6AOL.
Well, 73 to you as well, Mike. It's been a pleasure chatting with you, and I look forward to seeing you again down the line. Let's go on to Dion, KN6ASR, WA6LDI.
Oh, yes, Dion. I said 73, but I'm still here listening. Just wanted to make a shout out to Knut, my neighbor, also here in Rancho Santa Margarita. Beautiful Rancho Santa Margarita. And just to say again, it's been a great net, hearing how everybody got into it. Fantastic. And Phil, thanks again so much for running the net. It's great listening. KN6, ASR 73.
Okay, Dion. Well, it's my pleasure, sir. I really enjoy running these types of nets, and do so again during the on Sundays. If you have HF equipment, I have a 40-meter net that begins every Sunday at 8 a.m. 0800 hours on 7.2 megahertz, 40 meters. So if you have HF equipment and you're up at that time in the morning, by all means, please check in with my Sunday morning net. Okay, let's go on to Knut, K6HIV. This is WA6LDI.
Thank you, Phil, and I also with 73 as previous song, and that's good hearing everybody and their information, sharing the camaraderie with your family. So great to see Daddy back to next call today.
Well, 73 Knut, and good night to you. and looking forward to chatting with you again in the very near future. Take care, my friend. Let's go on to Anthony. KN6HUC. Anthony, you still with us?
That's all right, Dan. Fixed HDC here, and yeah, thanks for doing the net. We had a big group today. I think we had what 10 or 11. So that's a big group. So anyway, had a great time and listening to everybody and how they got into ham radio and stuff like that. And yeah, we'll try to make it out to your Sunday morning net. I've been trying, but sometimes it's kind of hard to get going. But yeah, we'll try to make it out there. So I guess that's about all. I'll send it back to that there, Bill. Thanks for doing it, and have a great evening. KN6HDC.
Okay, Anthony, we're looking forward to chatting with you on Sunday if you're up at 0800. Again, the frequency is 7.2 megahertz or 7200 kilohertz, however you want to say it. And we start off at 0800, usually lasts for only an hour. And we do have a number of people that check in, sometimes 10 or more, you never know. So that's great, and the majority of them, of course, are SOARA members, so you may be able to chat with some of the other members if you check in. Okay, well, 73, Anthony, again, it's been a pleasure. Let's go on to Bob, November 5, Kilo Zulu Victor. Bob, you still with us?
Kilo Zulu Victor. Nothing bad other than I just closing it all. Y'all have a good evening.
All right, well, 73, Bob, it's been a pleasure, and looking forward to chatting with you again soon. Dale, are you still with us, W6EDT?
Just listening out. 73, everybody, and over to K9JOS if he's on the net. Thanks, Phil. W6EDT.
This is K9JOS. Again, thank you, Phil, and everybody. It's been a great evening. I've enjoyed listening, and 73 to all. Good night.
Okay, very good, gentlemen. I want to thank each and every one of you for checking into the net this evening. As always, it's a great pleasure for me to run this net, and looking forward to chatting with you all again sometime soon. And again, hopefully on Sunday, if you could check into the 40-meter net, then that would be great. So this is WA6LDI Net Control for the SOARA Tuesday night net. The net is now closed and the repeater system is returned to normal operation. 73 all, take care of yourselves and God bless. WA6 LDI clear.